Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another Temple 420 Bible study. Today we'll be going through Genesis 42 and up here to whatever sounds good or whatever makes it work well here for us. Oh, jumping a little too soon here. Before I start out here, I will start us off with a prayer to all of those watching, and I appreciate you joining me here today for some Bible study. Dear Almighty Yahweh, God of gods, all the Almighty forever, everlasting one, thank you for all the blessings you give us. Thank you for keeping us safe and helping us be here today to listen through your word and ponder it with our minds. May it help us seek after you and do things pleasing in your sight and righteousness to you. And we're back to 42, where Joseph's brothers were coming back to Egypt. He asked them to. Now Jacob became aware that there was grain in Egypt. I thought we did. What was that back here? One. It said 41. There, we'll just go here with Genesis 42, 1. Now Jacob became aware that there was grain in Egypt, and he said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another?" He said, "See here, I've heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there to buy us." Why is that getting me so tongue tied? Go down there and buy for us from there so we may live and not die. Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt, but Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob did not send with his brothers, for he feared that harm might come to him. The sons of Israel came to buy among those who came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was governor over the land, and he was the one who sold to all the people of the land. Joseph's brothers came and bowed down to him with their faces in the ground. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized him, but he disguised himself to them, and he spoke harshly with them. He said to them, "Where have you come from?" They said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Joseph remembered the dreams that he had about them. "You are spies. You came to see undefended parts of the land." They said to him, "No, my master, your servants have come to buy food. We are all one man's son, and we are honest men. Your servants are not spies." He said to them, "No, you have come to see the undefended parts of the land." They said, "We are your servants, our 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. See that the youngest this day is with our father, and one brother is no longer alive." Joseph said to them, "It is what I said to you. You are spies. By this you'll be tested. By the life of the Pharaoh, you will not leave here unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of yourselves and let him get your brother. You will remain in prison that your words may be tested, whether there is truth in you or else by the life of the Pharaoh. Truly you are spies." He put them all in custody for 3 days. Joseph said to them on the third day, Do this and live, for I fear Elohim. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined in this prison, but you go carry the grain for your famine of your houses. Bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words will be verified, and you will not die. So they did so. They said to one another, we are truly guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the distress of his soul when he pleaded with us, and we would not listen. Therefore, this distress has come upon us. Reuben answered to them, did I not tell you, do not sin against the boy? But you would not listen. Now see, his blood is required of us. They did not know that Joseph understood them, for there was an interpreter between them. He turned from them and wept. He returned to them and spoke to them, and he took Simeon from them and bound them before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded his servants, fill his brothers' bags with grain, and put every man's money back in a sack to give them provisions for the journey. It was done for them. The brothers loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed from there. As one of them opened his sack to give his donkey feed in a lodging place, he saw the money. Behold, it was in the opening of his sack. And he said to his brothers, my money has been put back. Look at it, it's in my sack. Their hearts sank, and they began trembling to one another, saying, what is this that Elohim has done to us? Then they went to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and told them all what had happened to them. They said, the master of the land, spoke roughly with us and thought we were spies in the land. He said to him, we are honest men, we are not spies. We're 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no longer alive, and the youngest is in his day with our father in the land of Canaan. The master of the land, said to us, by this I will know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers with me and take the grain for the famine in your houses and go your way. Bring your youngest brother to me, and I will know that you're not spies, but you are honest men. And then I will release your brother to you, and you will trade in the land. It came about as they emptied their sacks that, behold, every man's silver was in his sack. And they saw their father. Their father saw the bags of silver, and they were afraid. Jacob, their father, said to them, you bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no longer alive. Simeon is gone. And you will take Benjamin away? All these things are against me. Reuben spoke to his father again, saying, you may kill 2 sons if I do not bring Benjamin back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you again. Jacob said, my son will not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is alone left. If harm comes to him on the road in which you will go, you will bring down my gray hair with sorrow into Seol. The famine was severe in the land, and it came about that they had eaten the grain that they had brought out of Egypt. And their father said to them, go again and buy us some food. Judah told him, the man solemnly warned us, you will not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you send our brother with us, we'll go down and buy you food. But if you do not send him, we'll not go down. For the man said to us, you will not see my face unless your brother is with you. Israel said, why did you treat me so badly, and telling that man that you had another brother? They said, the man asked details about us and our family. He said, is your father still alive? Do you have another brother? We answered him according to these questions. How could we have known what he would say? Bring your brother down. Judah said to Israel, his father, send the boy with me. We will rise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our children. I will be a guarantee for him. You will hold me responsible. If I do not bring him back to you, set him before you, and let me bear the blame forever. For if we had not delayed, surely by now we would have came back here a second time. Their father Israel said to them, if it be so, now do this. Take some of the best products in the land in your bags. Carry down to the man a gift, some balm and some honey, some spices and some myrrh, pistachio nuts and almonds. Take double money in your hand. The money that was returned on the opening of your sacks, carry again in your hand. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take also your brother. Rise and go again to the man. May Elohim Almighty give you mercy before the man, so that he may release you to your other brother and Benjamin. If I am bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. The men took his gift, and in their hand double the amount of money, along with Benjamin. They got up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward of my house, bring the men into my house and slaughter an animal and prepare it for them. The men will eat with me at noon. The steward did as Joseph said, and he brought the men to Joseph's house. The men were afraid because they were brought to Joseph's house. They said, is it because of the money that was returned in our sacks the first time that we're brought in, that he may seek an opportunity against us? He might arrest us and take us as slaves and take our donkeys. They approached the stewards of Joseph's house, and they spoke to him at the door of the house, saying, my master, we came down the first time to buy food, and it came about when we reached the lodging place that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the opening of the sack, in the money in full weight. We have brought it back in our hands. Other money we have also brought down in our hand to buy food. We do not know who put the money in our sacks. The steward said, peace be with you. Do not fear. Your Elohim and the Elohim of your father must have put the money in your sacks. I received your money. The steward then brought Simeon out to them. The steward took the men into Joseph's house, and he gave them water, and they washed their feet. He gave feed to their donkeys. They prepared the gifts for Joseph coming at noon, for they had heard that they would eat there. When Joseph came home, they brought the gifts in which were in their hands to the house and bowed before him to the ground. He asked them about their welfare and said, is your father well? The old man of whom you spoke, is he still alive? They said, your servant, our father, is well. He is still alive. They prostrated and bowed down to him. When he lifted up his eyes and saw Benjamin, his brother, his mother's son, he said, is this your youngest brother of whom you spoke to me? Then he said, my Elohim, be gracious to you, my son. Joseph hurried to go out of the room, as he was deeply moved about his brother. He sought somewhere to weep. He went to his room and wept there. He washed his face and came out. He controlled himself, saying, serve the food. The servants went and served Joseph by himself, and his brothers by themselves. The Egyptians ate there with him by themselves, because Egyptians could not eat bread with the Hebrews, for it was detestable to the Egyptians. The brothers sat before him, and the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. The men were astonished together. Joseph sent portions to them in the food in front of him, but Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as any of his brothers. They drank and were merry with him. Joseph tests his brothers. Joseph commanded the steward of the house, saying, fill the man's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack opening, put my cup, the silver cup, in the sacks opening to the youngest, and also his money for the grain. The steward did as Joseph said, and the morning dawned, and the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. They were out of the city, but they were not far off. Joseph said to his steward, "Get up and follow after the men, and when you've overtaken them, say to them, 'Why have you returned evil for good? Is this not the cup in which my master drinks, and the cup which he uses for divination? You have done evil in this thing that you have done.' The steward overtook them and spoke these words to him. They said to him, 'Why does my master speak such words? For far it be from your servants that he would do such a thing. Look at the money and that we found in our sacks opening, and we brought against you out of the land of Canaan. How could we steal out of your master's house silver or gold? From whoever your servant is found, let him die, and we will also be my master's slaves.' The steward said, 'Now let it be according to your words. He whom has the cup is found will be my slave, and your others will be innocent.' Then each man hurried and brought his sack down to the ground. Each man opened his sack, and the steward searched. He began with the oldest and finished with the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. They tore their clothes. Each man loaded his donkey and returned to the city. Judea and his brothers came to Joseph's house. He was still there and bowed before him. Joseph said, 'What is this that you had done? You do not know that a man like me practices divination?' Judah said, 'What can we say to my master? What can we speak? Or how can we justify ourselves? Elohim has found out the iniquity of your servants. Look, we are my master's slaves, both we and he also, in those whose hand the cup was found.' Joseph said, 'Far be it from me that I shall do so. The man whose hand in which the cup was found, that person will be my slave. But as far as you others, you go up in peace to your father.' Then Judea came near him and said, 'My master, please let your servant speak a word into my master's ears, and do not let your anger burn against your servant, for you are just like Pharaoh.' My master asked of his servants, saying, 'Do you have a father and a brother?' We said to my master, 'We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, but his brother is dead, and alone he is left of his mother, and his father loves him.' Then will you say to your servant, 'Bring him down to me that I may see him?' After that, we said to my master, 'The boy cannot leave his father, for he shall leave his father would die.' And then you said to your servant, 'Unless your younger brother comes down with you, you will not see my face again.' And then it came about when we went up to the servant of my father, we told him the words of my master. Our father said, 'Go again and find us some food.' Then we said, 'We cannot go down if our youngest brother is with us, then we will go down, for we will not be able to see the man's face until our youngest brother is with us.' Your servant, my father, said to us, 'You know that my wife bore me 2 sons. One of them went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn into pieces, and I have not seen him since. Now, if you take this one from me, and no harm comes to him, you will bring down my gray hair to sorrow, to Sheol.'" If you don't know, Sheol was a name for the considered hell place or afterlife area. "Now, therefore, when I come to your servant, my father, and the lad is not with us, Since his life is bound up in the boy's life, it'll come about. When he sees the boy is not with us, he will die. Your servants will bring down the gray hair of your servant, our father, with sorrow to Sheol. For your servant became a guarantee for the boy to my father and said, if I not bring him to you, then I will bear the guilt to my father forever. Now, therefore, please let your servant stay instead of the boy as a slave to my master, and I'll let the boy go up with his brothers. For how can I go up to my father if the boy is not with me? I'm afraid to see the evil that would come upon my father. Then Joseph could not control himself before the servants who stood by him. He said loudly, everybody must leave me. So no servant stood by him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. He wept loudly, and the Egyptians heard it, and the house of the Pharaoh heard it. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? His brothers could not answer him, for they were shocked at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, come near me, please. They came near. He said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Do not be grieved or angry with yourselves that you sold me here, for Elohim sent ahead of me of your preserved life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there'll be neither plowing nor harvest. Elohim sent me ahead of you to preserve you as a remnant in the earth, and to keep you alive by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me here, but Elohim. He has made me father to the Pharaoh, master to his house, and ruler to all the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father and say to him, this is what your son Joseph says. Sorry, drying my throat here. Let's see here. Do not be grieved or angry with yourself that you sold me here, for Elohim sent me ahead of you to preserve your life. Oh, there we go. 45:9. Hurry up and go to my father and say to him, this is what your son Joseph says. Oh, yeah. Where's my window? There we go. Elohim has made me master of all Egypt. Come down to me and do not delay. If you will live in the land of Goshen, and you will be near me, you and your children and your children's children, and your flocks and your herds will have, and all your flocks and your herds and all that you have. I will provide for you there, for there are still 5 years of famine, so that you do not come to poverty, you and your household, and all that you have. Look, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin. That is my mouth that speaks to you. You will tell my father about my honor in Egypt and all that you have seen. You will hurry and bring my father down here. He hugged his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. Benjamin wept on his neck. He kissed all of his brothers and wept over them. After his brothers talked with him, the news of the matter was told in the Pharaoh's house. Joseph's brothers have come. It pleased Pharaoh and his servants very much. Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, do this, load your animals and go to the land of Canaan. Get your father and your household and come to me. I will give you good in the land of Egypt, and you'll eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, do this and take the carts out of Egypt for your children and for your wives. Get your father and come. Do not be concerned about your possessions, for all the good of the land of Egypt is yours. The sons of Israel did this. Joseph gave them carts according to the commands of the Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for their journey. To all of them he gave each man changes of clothing, but to Benjamin he gave them 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of clothing. For his father sent this 10 donkeys loaded with good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and other supplies for his father on the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they left. They said to him, "See that you do not quarrel on the journey." They went up to Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob their father. They told to him, "Joseph is still alive, and he's ruler over the land of Egypt." His heart was astonished, for he could not believe what they told him. They told him all the words of Joseph that he had said to them. Then Jacob saw that the carts that Joseph had sent him, the ruach of Jacob their father, was revealed. Israel said, "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive, and I will go and see him before I die." Israel made his journey with all that he had and went to Beersheba. There he offered sacrifices to the Elohim of his father, Isaac. Elohim spoke to Israel in a vision at night, saying, "Jacob, Jacob, here I am." He said, I am Elohim, the Elohim of your father. Do not fear to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will surely bring you up again. And Joseph will close your eyes with his own hand. Jacob rose from Beersheba. The sons of Israel transported Jacob their father, their children, and their wives in their carts, in that Pharaoh had sent to carry him. They took their livestock and their possessions that they had accumulated in the land of Canaan. They came into Egypt, Jacob and all of his descendants with him. He brought him to Egypt, his sons and his sons' sons and his daughters and his sons' daughters and all of his descendants. These were the names of Israel who came to Egypt: Jacob and his sons, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu, and Herzon and Camil, the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Zatran, Zohar, Zal, the son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Karoth, and Meriki. The sons of Judah, Unan, Shea, Perez, Zerah, but and Onan had died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez were Hernan and Hamul. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Puva, Lob, Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Shirad, Elon, and Jehiel. These were the sons of Leah, who she born to Jacob in Padan Aram, along with his daughter Dinah. His sons and daughters were numbered 33. The sons of Gad were Zephon, Haggai, Shuni, Isbon, Adoi, Areli. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Isva, Isvi, and Barella, and Sirah was their sister. The sons of Berah were Hebner and Malchiel. These were the sons of Ziphrah, whom Laban had given Leah to his daughters. These were the sons she bore to Jacob, 16 in all. The sons of Jacob's wife, Rachel, were Joseph and Benjamin. In Egypt, Manasseh and Ephraim were born to Joseph by Aneth, the daughter of Potiphar's priest of On. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Ashabel, Jenah, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Mupam, Hapanam, and Arg. These were the sons of Rachel who were born to Jacob, 14 in all. The son of Dan was Hushim. The sons of Naphi were Jaziel, Gunzi, Jer, and Shilem. These were the sons born to Jacob by Bela, who Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, 7 in all. All those who went to Egypt with Jacob were his descendants, not counting Jacob's sons' wives. There were 66 in all. There were 2 sons of Joseph who were born with him in Egypt, and the members of his family who went into Egypt were 70 in all. Jacob sent Judah ahead of him to Joseph to show the way before him to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. Joseph prepared his chariot and went up to meet Israel, his father, in Goshen. When he saw him, he hugged his neck and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "Now let me die, since I have seen your face, that you are still alive." Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's house, "I will go to Pharaoh, saying, my brothers and my father's house, who were land of Canaan, have came to me. The men are shepherds, for they are keepers of livestock. They have brought their flocks and their herds that they may have, and come about. When the Pharaoh calls you and asks, what's your occupation? You should say, your servants have been keepers of livestock from our youth until now. Both we and our forefathers do this, so that you may land in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians." Let's see here what we got going on. I think next time we'll learn more about Jacob's family, the rest of the famine, and how that ponders all out. It's been 30 minutes here, and I appreciate everybody who joins and gets to hear the Bible and go through the Bible, study it with me. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you guys learn something and strive to learn more about the Bible. Dear Almighty Yahweh, thank you for what you've given us. Thank you for this Bible study you've given us today. May it enrich our hearts and encourage learning about you. Thank you for all you give us and the blessings you give us. Thank you all for visiting. Have a blessed day. Shalom.